The alarm bells rang loud across the Dominion command ship Eternal Might. Admiral Vexitari rushed to the bridge, his green scales catching the red emergency lights. Something was very wrong. "Report," he shouted to his crew. "Sir, our patrol ships have found something strange," said Officer Clixamon, pointing at the main screen, near the human world called Earth. Admiral Vexitari looked at the screen. 3 Dominion cruiser ships floated in space, completely still. They were not moving at all. Their engines were off. Their weapons were off. Everything was off. "What happened to them?" Vexitari asked. "We don't know, sir. They were checking a small human ship, then suddenly they just stopped." On the screen, a single human ship waited near the 3 dead cruisers. It was much smaller than the Dominion ships. It looked peaceful, but somehow it had defeated 3 powerful warships without firing a single shot. "Get me Captain Thalrex from Cruiser 1, Vexitari ordered. The screen changed. Captain Thalrex appeared, but he looked confused and scared. His yellow eyes were wide with fear. "Admiral," Thalrex said slowly, "we cannot move our ships. The humans, they did something to us. Our engines work, but when we try to move forward, we stay in the same place. When we try to shoot, our weapons point the wrong way." "What do you mean?" Vexitari demanded. "It's like space itself is broken around us. The human ship just sits there, but we cannot touch it, we cannot leave, we cannot fight." Admiral Vexitari felt cold fear in his stomach. The Dominion had ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years. Their ships were the strongest, their weapons were the best. How could one small human ship stop 3 cruisers? "Open a channel to the human ship," he ordered. The screen changed again. A young human woman appeared. She had black hair and calm brown eyes. She wore a simple blue uniform. She looked so normal, so weak. But she had somehow defeated 3 warships. "This is Lieutenant Heejin Park of the Earthship Soul's Pride," she said in perfect Dominion language. "How can I help you?" Her voice was polite and friendly. She smiled a little. Admiral Vexitari could not believe it. This small human woman was talking to him like they were old friends, not enemies. "You will surrender your ship immediately," Vexitari said in his most threatening voice. "You have attacked Dominion vessels. This is an act of war." Lieutenant Park tilted her head. "We have not attacked anyone, Admiral. Your ships tried to board our vessel without permission. We simply defended ourselves. You have disabled 3 of our cruisers. We have not harmed anyone," Park said calmly. "Your crews are safe. Your ships are not damaged. We have only made it impossible for you to hurt us or anyone else." Admiral Vexitari stared at her. "How?" Lieutenant Park was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Your ships are caught in a probability loop. You exist in all possible positions at the same time except the ones where you can hurt people. You will be free when you choose to leave peacefully." "That's impossible," Vexitari said. "No technology can do that." "Your technology cannot do that," Park agreed. "But we are not like you." Behind Lieutenant Park, Admiral Vexitari could see other humans working on their ship. There were maybe 30 people total. They moved calmly and quietly. Some of them were very young. One looked like an old man with gray hair. They did not look like warriors. They looked like teachers or scientists. "What kind of ship is this?" Vexitari asked. "Soul's Pride is a research vessel," Park said. "We study space and time. We were collecting stardust from this system when your ships found us." "A research ship did this to 3 warships?" "We do not have warships," Park said. "All our ships are for research or for helping people or for carrying goods. We do not make ships just for fighting." Admiral Vexitari felt more confused. "Then how did you defeat my cruisers?" "We did not defeat them. We made it so they cannot defeat us. There is a difference." Before Vexitari could answer, another officer ran to his side. "Admiral, more ships are coming through the gate. It's the full battle fleet." Vexitari looked at his screens. 200 Dominion ships were arriving. The biggest warships in the galaxy. Ships that could destroy planets, all coming to fight one small human research vessel. He looked back at Lieutenant Park. She did not look scared. She did not even look worried. "Lieutenant," he said, "you should run. 200 warships are coming. You cannot fight them all. Park nodded. We know. We can see them on our instruments. Then surrender now. I will make sure you are treated well. Thank you for your kindness, Admiral, Park said. But we cannot surrender. We have important research to finish. On Vextari's screen, he could see the human ship. It was so small compared to the massive fleet now surrounding it. The Soul's Pride was maybe 1/100th the size of his biggest battleship. How could 30 humans think they could survive against 200 ships and millions of soldiers? Captain Daeho Kim to all Dominion vessels, a new voice said over the radio. It was a man's voice, older and deeper than Lieutenant Park's. This is Captain Daeho Kim of the Soul's Pride. We do not want to fight you. Please leave this system and let us finish our work. You are surrounded, Vextari shouted back. You have no choice but to surrender. We always have choices, Admiral, Captain Kim said sadly. We hoped you would choose peace, but we understand fear makes that hard. We are not afraid of you, Vextari said, but his voice shook a little. We know, Captain Kim said gently. You are afraid of us, and that is why this will happen. What will happen? Vextari demanded. But Captain Kim did not answer. Instead, something impossible began to occur. The human ship started to glow with a soft blue light. The light got brighter and brighter. Admiral Vextari's instruments went crazy. Numbers and readings that made no sense filled his screens. Sir, his science officer shouted. The humans are doing something to space itself. Reality is changing. The blue light from the Soul's Pride spread out like water. It touched the 3 disabled cruisers first. Then it reached Admiral Vextari's command ship. Then it touched all 200 ships of the battle fleet. Admiral Vextari felt strange. Everything felt strange. The stars looked different. Space looked different. And then Admiral Vextari opened his eyes. He was still on his ship's bridge, but outside the windows he saw different stars. Stars he had never seen before. Where are we? He whispered. His navigation officer checked the instruments. His face went white with shock. Sir, we are at the edge of the galaxy, the very edge. We are thousands of light years from where we were. All ships report, Vextari commanded. One by one, his captains reported the same thing. All 200 ships were fine. No one was hurt. Nothing was broken. But they were all at the far edge of the galaxy, farther from home than any Dominion ship had ever traveled. How long will it take to get back? Vextari asked. At full speed. 6 months, sir. Admiral Vextari sat down heavily in his command chair. Somehow, 30 humans on one small ship had moved 200 warships across the entire galaxy in a few seconds. They had done it without violence, without anger. They had simply moved them away. Sir, his communications officer said quietly, we are receiving a message. From who? From the human ship, sir. From Lieutenant Park. The screen showed Lieutenant Park again. She still looked calm and friendly. Behind her, the human crew continued, their work as if nothing had happened. Admiral Vextari, she said, we are sorry we had to send you so far away. But you and your people are safe, and so are we. When you get home, please tell your leaders that we want to be friends. We have much to learn from each other. The message ended. Admiral Vextari stared at the empty screen for a long time. In his long military career, he had fought many enemies. He had conquered many worlds. He had always won through superior force and better weapons. But he had never met an enemy who won by simply making it impossible to fight. He had never met an enemy who called him friend even as they defeated him. And he had never been so completely, utterly outmatched by people who did not even seem to be trying. Admiral Vextari looked out at the strange stars and wondered what kind of species humanity really was. And for the first time in his life, the great Admiral Vextari was afraid. Director Kulnath sat in his dark office deep inside the Dominion Intelligence Headquarters. His 4 arms moved quickly across multiple screens, reading reports from across the galaxy. Each report made him more worried. The humans were everywhere, now. After Admiral Vextari's embarrassing defeat, more human ships had appeared in different star systems. They were small ships with small crews. They said they were exploring, trading, or doing research. But every time Dominion forces tried to stop them, the same thing happened. The human ships did impossible things. "Sir," his assistant said, walking into the office. "Dr. Mirkax is here with his report." "Send him in," Kulneth said. Dr. Mirkax was the Dominion's best scientist. He studied alien life forms and their technology. If anyone could understand the humans, it would be him. Dr. Mirkax entered the office carrying a metal box. His 6 eyes looked tired and confused. "Director," he said, "I have studied the human technology we found. What I discovered, it changes everything we know." "Show me," Kulneth said. Dr. Mirkax opened the metal box. Inside were pieces of a human ship that had crashed on a moon near the border. The pieces looked normal at first, just gray metal and some wires. "This is hull material from a human vessel," Dr. Mirkax said, picking up a piece of gray metal. "Watch what happens when I touch it." He placed his hand on the metal. Nothing happened for a moment. Then the metal began to change. It got softer. The color changed from gray to green. Small bumps appeared on the surface. "It's reacting to my touch," Dr. Mirkax explained. "But that's not the strange part. Watch this." He put the metal piece on his desk and stepped back. Slowly, the metal began to move by itself. It stretched like rubber, then became hard like stone. Then it folded itself into a perfect cube. "The metal is alive?" Kulneth asked. "Not alive exactly," Dr. Mirkax said, "but it thinks. It learns. It remembers. When I touched it, it learned about my biology. Now it knows how to make itself comfortable for me to hold." Kulneth stared at the metal cube. "How is this possible?" "I don't know," Dr. Mirkax admitted. "Our best computers cannot understand how this material works. It seems to change the rules of physics around itself." "What about their engines? Their weapons?" Dr. Mirkax looked even more worried. "Director, I don't think they have weapons, not like we understand weapons, and their engines, they don't work like engines should work." "Explain." "Their ships don't push against space to move, they convince space to move them. It's like, imagine you want to go to the other side of a room. Instead of walking across the room, you convince the room to bring the other side to you." Kulneth felt a headache starting. "That makes no sense." "I know, but somehow humans make it work." Before Kulneth could respond, an alarm started ringing. Red lights flashed on his walls. "Director," his assistant's voice came over the intercom. "Emergency message from the Kepler system." "Put it through," Kulneth ordered. The screen on his wall showed Admiral Bextall, commander of the 4th Fleet. His face was pale with fear. "Director," Admiral Bextall said, "we have a problem. A big problem." "What happened?" "We found 2 human ships in the Kepler system, small research vessels. We moved to intercept them with a strike force of 50 ships." "And?" Admiral Bextall was quiet for a moment. "They made our ships disappear." "What do you mean, disappear?" "I mean they are gone, Director. All 50 ships. They were there, and then they were not there. But we can still talk to them on the radio." Kulneth and Dr. Mirkax looked at each other. "Where are the ships?" Kulneth asked. "The crews say they can see us, but we cannot see them. They say they are in the same place, but in a different layer of space. The human captain said they moved our ships slightly sideways from reality to keep everyone safe. Can you get them back?" "The humans say they will return our ships when we promise to leave them alone." Kulneth closed his eyes. This was getting worse and worse. "Admiral, agree to their terms. Get your ships back." "Yes, sir." The screen went dark. Kulneth looked at Dr. Mirkax. "Doctor, I need you to find out everything you can about human technology. Use any resources you need, take as long as you need. But find out how they do these things." "I will try, Director, but I think we are looking at this wrong." "What do you mean?" "I think the humans didn't build their technology," Dr. Mirkax said, slowly. "I think they grew it. Or maybe Maybe they became it. Meanwhile, far away in the Kepler system, engineer Bo-Ram Lee worked quietly in the engine room of the human ship Busan Innovation. She was young, maybe 25 years old. Her hands moved gently over a control panel that looked more like a garden than a machine. "Bo-Ram," called Dr. Sheng Ho Chang from across the room. "How are the engines feeling today?" "Happy," Bo-Ram said with a smile. "They like this star system. The solar wind here is very clean." Dr. Chang nodded. He was older, maybe 50, with kind eyes behind thick glasses. He had been studying human ship connections for many years. "The Dominion people looked very confused when we moved their ships," Bo-Ram said. "I think they don't understand how we do things," Dr. Chang replied. "They build machines that obey them. We grow machines that work with us. Should we explain it to them?" Dr. Chang thought about this. Maybe someday. But first, they need to stop being afraid of us. Bo-Ram nodded and returned to her work. She placed her hands on the control panel and closed her eyes. The ship's engines hummed softly like a cat purring. To Bo-Ram, the ship was not just a machine. It was a partner, a friend. When she wanted to go somewhere, she didn't tell the ship where to go. She shared her desire to go there, and the ship helped make it happen. "Dr. Chang," she said without opening her eyes, "I can feel the Dominion, ships watching us from far away. Are they planning to attack?" "No, they are curious and scared, but mostly curious. That's good. Curious is better than angry." In another part of space, Captain Min Seo-yoon stood on the bridge of the Incheon Guardian. She was looking at a report from Earth about Dominion ship movements. "Captain," said her communications officer, "we have detected a Dominion spy ship trying to follow us. How long have they been following us?" 3 days. They think they are being sneaky." Captain Yoon smiled. "Let them follow for now. Maybe they will learn something useful." "Should we lose them?" "Not yet. But if they try to attack, move us into parallel space until they calm down." "Yes, Captain." Captain Yoon was not worried about the spy ship. Human vessels could move in and out of normal space like fish swimming between different levels of water. The Dominion ships were stuck in only one level. But she was worried about something else. More and more Dominion ships were gathering in, different systems. They were studying human movements, learning human patterns. "Communications," she said. "Send a message to Earth. Tell them the Dominion is getting ready for something big." "Yes, Captain." Captain Yoon looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, alien leaders were making plans. They were probably scared and angry about human abilities. Scared and angry leaders often made bad choices. She hoped the Dominion leaders would be smart. She hoped they would choose to talk instead of fight. But Captain Yoon knew that hope was not always enough. In his office, Director Kulneth finished reading the latest reports. Human ships had been seen in over 30 star systems. Each time Dominion forces tried to capture or destroy them, the humans did something impossible and escaped without hurting anyone. "They're not just advanced," he said to himself. "They're completely different." He opened a secure channel to the Dominion High Command. "This is Director Kulneth," he said. "I need to speak with the Emperor immediately." "We have a crisis." The response came quickly. "The Emperor will see you in 1 hour." Kulneth gathered his reports and prepared for the most important meeting of his life. He had to convince the Emperor that the humans were not just another enemy to crush. They were something entirely new, something that could change everything. Emperor Vashkai sat on his golden throne, his massive form filling the entire seat. His red eyes glowed with anger as he read the reports. Around him, his most trusted advisors stood in silence. They were all afraid to speak. 10,000 ships, the Emperor said slowly. "I want 10,000 ships." "Your Majesty," said General Krikstal carefully, "that is our entire military force. Every ship we have." "Good," Emperor Vashkai growled. "These humans think they can embarrass the Dominion. They think their tricks make them powerful. I will show them what real power looks like." Director Kulneth stepped forward. "Your Majesty, I don't think force is the answer. The humans have technology we don't understand. They—" "Silence," the Emperor roared. I have ruled this galaxy for 40 years. No primitive species will make me look weak." The Emperor stood, up from his throne. He was 3 meters tall and covered in thick armor-like skin. When he was angry, he was terrifying. "Grand Admiral Zethkor," he commanded. "Yes, Your Majesty," said a tall, thin alien with 4 arms. "Gather every ship, every soldier, every weapon. We will go to the human homeworld and end this problem once and for all. It will take time to gather such a large fleet, Your Majesty. Then start now. And Admiral, when we reach Earth, I want nothing left alive." Grand Admiral Zethkor bowed deeply. "Yes, Your Majesty." Far away on Earth, Admiral Junwoo Park sat in the Human Defense Command Center. He was reading intelligence reports from human ships across the galaxy. The news was not good. "Admiral," said Commander Yoonji Kim, hurrying into the room. "We have a problem, a very big problem." "What is it?" "Our scouts report massive Dominion fleet movements. Ships from every corner of their empire are gathering at their main military base." Admiral Park looked at the numbers on his screen. 10,000 ships? Maybe more, and they're all heading toward Earth. Admiral Park was quiet for a moment. He was an old man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had hoped this day would never come. "How long do we have? 2 weeks, maybe 3. And how many ships can we field against them?" 50, sir. Our entire fleet." Admiral Park nodded slowly. 50 human ships against 10,000 alien warships. The numbers looked impossible. "Commander, send a message to Dr. Young-Suk Han. Tell her we need to activate the Collective Defense Protocol." Commander Kim looked worried. "Sir, that protocol has never been tested on this scale. We don't know what will happen. We're about to find out." On the research station orbiting Earth, Dr. Young-Suk Han received the message. She was a small woman with white hair and bright, intelligent eyes. She had spent her whole life studying human consciousness and how it connected to their technology. "Are you sure about this?" asked her assistant, Dr. Ki Young-shin. "No," Dr. Han said honestly. "But we don't have a choice." She walked to a large machine in the center of her laboratory. It looked like a mix between a computer and a musical instrument. Wires and tubes connected it to panels all around the room. "Dr. Shin, begin the connection sequence." "Yes, Doctor." Dr. Shin's hands moved over the controls. Slowly, the machine began to hum. Lights started blinking across the room. "Connection established with Earth's communication network," Dr. Shin reported. "Good. Now connect to the orbital stations." "Connected." "Connect to the moon colonies." "Connected." And finally, "Connect to every human in the solar system." Dr. Shin hesitated. "Doctor, that's 8 billion people. Are you sure the network can handle it?" "We're about to find out." Meanwhile, the Dominion fleet was already moving toward Earth. Grand Admiral Zethkor stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Dominion's Wrath. Around him, thousands of ships flew in perfect formation. "Admiral," said his communications officer, "we are receiving surrender requests from several human colonies." "Ignore them," Zethkor ordered. "The Emperor wants them all destroyed." "Sir, some of the colonies have children, civilians who never fought us." Zethkor looked at the officer coldly. "The Emperor's orders are clear." On Earth, in a small apartment, in Seoul, a young woman named Hae-Rin Song was making dinner when she felt something strange. A gentle buzzing in her mind, like a distant radio station. She put down her cooking spoon and sat on her couch. The buzzing got stronger. Then she heard a voice not with her ears but in her thoughts. "We need you," the voice said. "We all need each other." Hae-Rin understood immediately. Every human learned about the Collective Defense Protocol in school, but no one thought it would ever be used. She closed her eyes and opened her mind. Across Earth, the same thing happened, to 8 billion people. In New York, businessman Woo Jin Choi stopped his meeting and closed his eyes. In Tokyo, student Narai Watanabe put down her books. In London, Dr. Sungmin Roberts left his patient and found a quiet room. All across the solar system, humans stopped what they were doing and joined their minds together. The effect was immediate and incredible. On the approaching Dominion fleet, Weapons Officer Klexavon was preparing the main guns when something strange happened. He suddenly felt different. He remembered being a child on his home planet, playing with his sister in the purple grass. But wait, he had never had a sister, and his home planet didn't have purple grass. Then he realized, these weren't his memories. They belonged to someone else, someone human. The memory was so clear, so full of love and joy, that Klexavon started crying. He had never felt such happiness before. "Sir," his assistant said, "what's wrong?" But his assistant was crying too. And so was everyone else on the bridge. On the flagship, Grand Admiral Zethkor tried to give orders, but his voice caught in his throat. He was experiencing the memory of a human grandmother teaching her grandson to cook. The love between them was so pure, so strong that it made his heart ache. Across the entire Dominion fleet, the same thing was happening. 10,000 ships filled with millions of soldiers, all suddenly experiencing human emotions and memories. Soldier named Kixtal felt what it was like to hold a newborn baby. A captain named Vorkin experienced a human wedding, filled with joy and hope. A weapons specialist named Tulmar felt the grief of a human who had lost a friend, and the way other humans came together to comfort him. The memories and emotions flowed through the alien minds like water through a desert. These beings had never experienced such deep connections, such pure love. On Earth, Weapons Officer Tay Minot stood on the bridge of the flagship Daegu Defiant. He watched his instruments as the Dominion fleet approached. But instead of preparing for battle, he was witnessing something impossible. "Captain," he said to Captain Jae-Sung Ko, "the Dominion fleet is slowing down." "What?" "They've stopped moving toward Earth. They're just floating in space." Captain Ko looked at his screens. It was true. 10,000 enemy warships had simply stopped fighting. They weren't moving, they weren't charging weapons, they were just sitting there. "Sir," said Communications Officer Min-Ji Yu, "we're receiving messages from the Dominion fleet." "What are they saying?" They're asking if we're okay. They want to know if we need help." Captain Ko stared at her. "Help? They came here to destroy us." "I know, sir. But they're saying they can feel our fear. They want to protect us." On the Dominion flagship, Grand Admiral Zethkor was on his knees, tears streaming down his face. He had just experienced the memory of a human child being rescued from a burning building by strangers who risked their lives to save her. "Admiral," his communications officer said gently, "what are your orders?" Zethkor looked up. Around him, his crew was looking at him with new eyes full of compassion and understanding. "Send a message to all ships," he whispered. "Stand down. Power down all weapons." "Sir, we cannot hurt them," Zethkor said. They are like us, but better. They are what we could become." "What about the Emperor's orders?" Zethkor thought of Emperor Vashkai's rage and hatred. Then he thought of the human memories he had just experienced. The love, the kindness, the willingness to help strangers. "The Emperor was wrong," he said quietly. "We are all wrong. These people, they're not our enemies. They're teachers." One by one across the entire fleet, Dominion commanders powered down their weapons. Ships that had come to destroy Earth instead sent messages of friendship and offers to help. For the first time in galactic history, a war had been stopped, not by force, but by understanding. On Earth, Dr. Young-Suk Han smiled as she watched the readings from her machine. The collective defense protocol had worked perfectly, but it had done more than just defend Earth. It had shown the galaxy what humans really were, and what they could help others become. Emperor Vashkai stood in his secret weapons laboratory, deep beneath his palace. The room was filled with dark machines and glowing screens. In the center of the room was a device that terrified even his own scientists. "The reality bomb, Your Majesty," said Chief Scientist Grelthok nervously. "Are you certain about this? The weapon has never been tested." "I am certain," the Emperor growled. "The humans embarrassed me in front of the entire galaxy. They made my fleet look like children. This ends now." The reality bomb was the Dominion's most secret weapon. It was designed to collapse space-time itself, destroying everything in an entire star system. Not just planets and ships, but space and time too. Nothing would be left, not even memory. The weapon will destroy Earth and everything around it, Gralthok warned, including any Dominion ships in the area. I don't care, Emperor Vashkai said. Send the order. Activate the reality bomb. Yes, Your Majesty. Far away, in the Sol system, Fleet Commander Kyung-suk Park was enjoying a quiet morning on her ship, the Ulsan Protector. She was drinking tea and reading reports when her instrument suddenly screamed with alarms. "Commander!" shouted her science officer. "I'm detecting massive energy buildup at the edge of the system." Commander Park set down her tea and looked. At the readings, her face went pale. How massive? It's space-time itself, Commander. Someone is trying to collapse reality in this entire system. Commander Park understood immediately. She had heard rumors about Dominion superweapons. She had hoped they were just stories. How long do we have? The energy is building slowly, maybe 10 minutes before reality collapse begins. Send an emergency message to all human ships and send a message to any Dominion vessels in the area too. Commander, if reality collapses, it will kill everyone here, human and alien alike. On Earth, Captain Hyunwoo Kim received the emergency message while walking in a park near Seoul. The message came directly into his mind through the human communication network. He felt the fear and sadness of Commander Park's crew, but he also felt something else. Determination. Captain Kim closed his eyes and connected to the global human network. Within seconds, he was linked to every human on Earth, on the moon, and in space stations around the solar system. My friends, he said through the network, we have a choice to make. Communications officer Narai Young, who was visiting her family in Busan, received the message and immediately understood. So did 8 billion other humans. The Emperor was trying to destroy them with a weapon powered by hate and fear. But humans had something more powerful than hate. They had love. All across the solar system, humans stopped what they were doing. They sat down, closed their eyes, and joined their consciousness together. Not to fight, but to transform. On the Dominion space station where the reality bomb was charging, Chief Scientist Gralthok watched his instruments with growing confusion. Your Majesty, he said into his communicator, something is wrong with the weapon. What do you mean wrong? Emperor Vashkai demanded. The energy matrix is changing. Instead of collapse energy, it's generating creation energy. That's impossible. Gralthok stared at his screens. The reality bomb was designed to destroy space and time, but somehow the weapon's destructive force was being transformed into something else, something that built instead of destroyed. Your Majesty, the weapon is creating new space instead of destroying old space. It's making planets. In the Sol system, Commander Park watched in amazement as 3 new worlds appeared near Earth. Beautiful green and blue planets with clean atmospheres and ready for life. Commander, her science officer said in wonder, the new planets are perfect for colonization. They have everything needed for life. How is this possible? I don't know. It's like someone took the energy meant to destroy us and used it to create new homes instead. On the Dominion flagship still in Sol system, Grand Admiral Zethkor felt something incredible happening. The human consciousness network had reached out to him and his crew again, but this time instead of sharing memories, they were sharing pure emotion. Love, forgiveness, hope for the future. Even knowing that Emperor Vashkai had tried to kill them all, the humans were not angry. They were sad that the Emperor had chosen hatred over peace. Admiral Zethkor opened a communication channel to his homeworld. Emperor Vashkai, he said, this is Admiral Zethkor. I formally surrender my fleet to the humans. You will do no such thing, the Emperor roared. Your Majesty, you just tried to commit genocide, not just against humans but against my crews too. I cannot serve a leader who would murder his own people. One by one, other Dominion commanders in the system made the same choice. They formally surrendered to the humans, not out of fear but out of respect. On Earth, Ambassador Su-Jin Lee was already preparing for what would come next. She was a wise woman who understood that victory was only the beginning of the real work. "Nare," she said to Communications Officer Jung. "Send a message to the Galactic Council. Tell them we propose a new agreement." "What kind of agreement?" "A partnership. We will share our consciousness technology with any species that wants to learn. In return, they can teach us about engineering, art, music, and philosophy." "And what about Emperor Vashkai?" Ambassador Lee was quiet for a moment. "Send him a message too. Tell him that we forgive him. Tell him that when he is ready to choose peace over power, we will welcome him as a friend." 6 months later, the first joint human-alien crew was ready to launch. The ship was called Harmony's Journey, and it was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The ship was built using both human consciousness technology and alien engineering. It could travel between dimensions like a human ship, but it was also incredibly strong and efficient like an alien ship. Captain Ji-Hoon Park stood on the bridge next to his co-commander, a Dominion officer named Kethvar. 6 months ago, they had been enemies. Now they were partners. "Captain Park," Kethvar said, "our destination coordinates are locked in." "Thank you, Commander Kethvar. Are all departments ready?" "Human consciousness systems are ready," reported Engineer Min-Soo Kim. "Alien navigation systems are ready," reported Navigator Thelmos. "Life support systems are ready," reported Dr. Hae-Young Oh and Dr. Vixteen working together. Captain Park smiled. His crew included humans, Dominion reptiles, crystalline beings, and even some of the peaceful plant people from the Outer Rim. They were all working together to explore a part of space where consciousness and technology created entirely new forms of reality. "All hands," he announced, "prepare for dimensional jump." The ship began to glow with the soft blue light of human consciousness technology. But this time, the light was mixed with the silver glow of alien engineering and the gold glow of crystalline mathematics. Harmony's Journey didn't just disappear like a human ship or accelerate like an alien ship. It did something new. It danced between realities, existing in multiple dimensions while still being whole. On Earth, Ambassador Su-Jin Lee watched the ship depart and smiled. The galaxy was learning that there were many ways to be powerful. Humans had chosen the path of consciousness and love. Other species had chosen different paths. But together, they could create something none of them could achieve alone. A future where understanding was stronger than weapons, where cooperation was more powerful than conquest, where love could transform enemies into family. The message spread across the galaxy. Humans were not conquerors. They were teachers, healers, and friends, and the galaxy would never be the same. Even Emperor Vashkai, alone in his palace, began to wonder if perhaps there was a better way to live. Perhaps someday he too would learn to choose love over power. But that is a story for another day. The emergency session of the Vorthak High Council was unlike anything in the Empire's long history. For the first time in centuries, the mighty aliens who ruled 12 star systems sat in their great hall trembling with fear. High Commander Thexnol, the same officer who had dismissed humanity 50 years ago, looked older than his many years. His hands shook as he read the reports from the Sol System battle for the 100th time. "The humans destroyed Warfleet Tertius in 37 minutes, he said to the assembled council. 200 of our best ships gone. Battle Commander Crixnall is their prisoner. They're demanding our complete surrender." Council Leader Vexthon, eldest of the Vorthaks, spoke in a voice heavy with disbelief. "How is this possible? Our records show them as primitive creatures with chemical rockets." "Our records were 50 years old," Thexnall replied bitterly. "While we ignored them, they grew strong, stronger than us." Outside the council chamber, panic was spreading through every Vorthak world. Human ships had appeared at the edge of each star system, not attacking but watching, waiting. Their presence was a constant reminder that the Empire's days of ruling through fear were over. On the human flagship New Earth, Fleet Admiral Kang, Daeho prepared for the most important diplomatic meeting of his life. At 90 years old, he was the only human alive who had met the Vorthax before the war. Now he would decide their fate. "Sir, the Vorthak delegation has arrived," reported Captain Yi Su-jin. "They're requesting permission to board." Admiral Kang smiled grimly. "Send them to Conference Room Alpha, the same room where we held their prisoners after the battle. I want them to see what happened to their superior military." The meeting took place on the same space station where humanity had been dismissed 50 years ago. But this time everything was different. The humans arrived in a massive dreadnought that made the entire Vorthak station look like a toy. Their technology was so advanced that alien sensors couldn't even understand how it worked. Thexnal walked into the conference room with 6 other high-ranking Vorthaks. All of them looked nervous and defeated. Across the table sat Admiral Kang, flanked by Earth's military leaders and diplomats. The silence stretched for long minutes. Finally, Thexnal spoke. "Admiral Kang, we come to discuss terms for ending this conflict." Kang studied the alien who had once threatened to harvest Earth like a field of grain. "Conflict? There is no conflict, High Commander. Conflicts happen between equals. You are here to discuss the terms of your surrender." Thexnal's proud alien features twisted with shame. "We offer a complete ceasefire. Our fleets will withdraw from human space. We can establish trade agreements, share technology." "You misunderstand the situation," interrupted Dr. Beck Minho, Earth's new head of alien relations. "You're not here to negotiate your withdrawal from our space. You're here to discuss how your empire will be absorbed into ours." The Vorthak delegation sat in stunned silence. Admiral Song Ji-hai activated a holographic display showing human fleets positioned throughout Vorthak space. "We have ships at every one of your worlds," she explained calmly. "Your remaining military forces are outnumbered 10-1. Your technology is 50 years behind ours. You have no allies, no options, and no hope of victory." General Kim Woo-jin leaned forward, his expression hard. "The Galactic Council has already been contacted. The 3 civilizations you destroyed have been told that justice is coming. The entire galaxy knows that the Vorthak Empire has fallen." Thexnal felt the weight of total defeat crushing down on him. What are your terms?" Admiral Kang stood up and walked to the large window overlooking space. In the distance he could see Earth, the blue world that had been marked for extinction and had instead become the center of a new galactic power. "Your military will be reduced by 90%, Kang said without turning around. "The remaining ships will serve under human command to help rebuild the worlds you destroyed. Your weapons technology will be shared with your former victims." He turned back to face the alien delegation. "Your government will be dissolved. Each Vorthak world will be administered by human governors until your people learn to live peacefully. War criminals will be tried for their crimes against other species." Council leader Vexthon found his voice. "And our people? What happens to ordinary Vorthaks who never chose war?" "They will be treated fairly," replied Ambassador Park So-young, the same engineer who had recorded the first alien contact 50 years ago. "But they will live under human authority. Your empire's days of ruling others through fear are over forever." The most bitter pill came last. Dr. Choi Min-jun, whose quantum computers had made humanity's technological leap possible, explained the final condition. "The Vorthak Empire will serve as humanity's introduction to the galactic community. When we meet other alien species, you will be with us as proof of what happens to those who threaten Earth. You will be our living example of conquered enemies." Thexnal closed his eyes in pain. To go from ruling an empire to serving as humanity's conquered subjects was a humiliation beyond imagining. But the alternative was extinction. "We accept your terms," he whispered. Over the following months, the transformation of Vorthak space began. Human administrators took control of alien worlds, but they proved to be fair rulers. Unlike the Vorthaks, humans didn't believe in ruling through fear and oppression. Captain Lim Seo-jin established the first human colony on the former Vorthak capital world. She worked with local aliens to rebuild their society without the military culture that had defined their empire for centuries. The old Vorthak way was conquest and domination, she explained to a gathering of alien civilians. The human way is cooperation and growth. Learn our methods, and you will prosper under our rule. Some Vorthaks resisted the new order, but most quickly realized that human rule was far better than the harsh military dictatorship they had lived under before. For the first time in their history, ordinary Vorthaks could speak freely, choose their own jobs, and live without fear of their own government. The three civilizations destroyed by the Vorthaks began to rebuild with human help. Earth's advanced technology allowed them to restore their worlds and cultures faster than anyone had thought possible. As news of the Vorthak Empire's fall spread through the galaxy, other alien species began to take notice of the new power called humanity. Some sent friendly diplomatic messages. Others watched nervously from a distance. Admiral Quan Jaewon, now in command of the expanded human fleet, addressed Earth's leadership about the future. "The galaxy knows we exist now," he reported. "Every species has heard how we defeated the Vorthaks. Some want to be our friends. Others may see us as a threat to be eliminated." President Park Young-soo nodded thoughtfully. "Then we'll be ready for whatever comes. We've learned that in this universe, strength is the only language everyone understands." On his deathbed, old Ambassador Kang De-ho was visited by Thexnol, the former High Commander who now served as a human advisor on alien affairs. The proud Vorthak who had once threatened humanity now spent his days helping Earth understand galactic politics. "Do you regret it?" Kang asked weakly. "Dismissing us 50 years ago?" Thexnol was quiet for a long moment. "I regret many things, but mostly I regret that we never learned what you humans understood from the beginning." "What's that?" "That the most dangerous enemy is not the one with the biggest weapons or the most ships. It's the one you underestimate completely." Admiral Kang smiled as he closed his eyes for the final time. He had lived to see his species go from dismissed primitives to galactic rulers. He had witnessed humanity's greatest transformation and its greatest victory. The age of human dominance had begun, and across the galaxy every alien species now knew a simple truth: never underestimate Earth. The humans had learned patience, unity, and determination in the face of extinction. Now, they would teach these lessons to the rest of the universe one way or another. The galaxy would never be the same.